So who here has heard a Thelemite say 93 or something like that? The Thelemites have. So WTF is 93. So if you ever see a Thelemite online in particular, you will see a lot of 93s being thrown around. This is basically used as a greeting. We say 93 and the other person says 93 back. If it's in written communication, someone will often say 93 and then the response is 93 space 93/93. It looks pretty weird when you're first getting into it. Why is this, okay? So we have these two basic concepts. Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law, and love is the law, love under will. There's also two Greek words that summarize these things. So we've already encountered Thelema, which means will. So do what thou wilt, or do what thou Thelema, right, shall be the whole of the law. There's also this other term, agape. So Greeks have multiple terms for love, as many of you I'm sure have heard. There's eros, the kind of erotic love. There's philia, the kind of filial or friendship kind of love. And there's agape, that was understood specifically as divine love. The love between God and man, so to speak. Crowley adapted this term, but of course said that God is within each person. So the love of the divine is love of one another, one might say. The real point here is that love is the law, love under will can be kind of summarized in this one word, agape. Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law can be summarized in this other word, Thelema. There's something called gematria in Hebrew or isopsophy in Greek, which means that each letter is actually a number. And this was just part of the language. This isn't some weird occult thing. This is just how it works. So, for example, A in Hebrew, Aleph is 1. B, Bet is 2. And then it gets a little weird from there. G, Gimel is 3, and so on. It's also true for Greek. So if you take the word Thelema and you split it up and take the enumeration, this is theta is 9, epsilon is 5, lambda is 30, eta is 8, mu is 40, and alpha is 1. You've all memorized the correspondences already, right? But if you add this up, it comes out to 93. So when people say 93 to someone, it's an incredibly shorthand way to say, do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. Does that make sense? Same for agape. Alpha is 1. That should actually be a 3 right here. Gamma is 3. Alpha is 1. Pi is 80. Eta is 8. And they come out to 93. This should be a 3 for those who are adding up. So, just keeping you on your toes, making sure you're paying attention. So this is basically what 93 is. 93 is will or love. And so 93 is like I said, to say, do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. The response to that is love is the law, love under will. So naturally people say 93 back. In writing though, like I said, it's 93 space 93/93, which looks pretty crazy. But it's love is the law, love under will. Crowley himself actually started this in his letters. He said you have to start every letter with do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, and end every letter with love is the law, love under will. And even he got tired of it and started writing 93 and then 93, 93, 93. So when you see this online, you can be in the know about what this is actually saying. You might ask, what is this thing over here? Does anyone know the name of this?
Unicursal hexagram?
That's right. So unicursal hexagram. And it's unicursal because if you were to take a pen, you could draw the entire thing without lifting up your pen. A normal hexagram is a triangle like this, and then a triangle like this, and you have to pick up your pen. It's 2 motions. The normal hexagram is often seen as the connection of God descending into man. So the union of God and man as a symbol of enlightenment, right? And in this symbol, the union is so close, they're so identified that they are simply one symbol now. They're not even 2 different triangles. And this kind of flower is blooming from it. There are further esoteric interpretations of everything in Crowley's work. If you think there's only 1 layer or 2 layers to something Crowley is saying, you're missing the 3rd and 4th layers. So for example, this is a 6-pointed star with a 5-petaled rose. And one of the occult ideas is that the microcosm is a reflection of the macrocosm, like I said, as above, so below. The microcosm of ourselves is a pentagram because we have 4 limbs and a head. We're like a star, right? And that's this 5-pointed star here. And then the macrocosm of the universe, the 6 planets and the sun, so to speak, fit onto the hexagram and represent the greater universe. So this symbol also represents the union of yourself with the universe, or the union of microcosm with macrocosm. For those of you who are really crazy about the numerical symbolism, 5 is a microcosm, 6 is the macrocosm, and so 11 is a symbol of the great work accomplished, the union of yourself with God, the union of yourself with the universe. Like I said, spiral staircase. You'll come back to it and it'll make sense after you've studied it some. So the Thelemic universe. There's a symbolic universe that Thelema places you into. And it can be expressed symbolically very simply. There's something called Nuit, which is the infinite space and infinite stars. Nuit literally means night in French, and she's often symbolized by the night sky. So she's often symbolized by a woman bending over like this. Like the night sky, as if you were looking up, it's like this expansive, infinite woman bent over. You may notice infinite space and infinite stars comes from the Book of the Law, and there are little weird Kabbalistic ciphers. Like the first letter of each of these spells out Isis, the mother goddess. And actually, all of these letters are capitalized in the Book of the Law, so it kind of clues you off to that. So the Book of the Law describe, one more thing. Here's Nuit, the infinite expanse, infinite possibilities. So she's in a universe where we might imagine the universe as a circle or a sphere, whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. This actually is a very old phrase, but it's used in the Book of the Law. And Nuit is that circumference which is nowhere. So if the center is everywhere, that circumference is nowhere. It's infinite, expanded infinitely. So if we think of the infinite expansion of the universe, there's also the infinite point, or the infinite contraction. That's Hadit in the middle here. So Hadit is the principle of motion, the principle of life. In the universe, a circle whose center is everywhere. Hadit is that center. So we have Nuit and Hadit. Nuit is this infinite expanse. Hadit is the infinite contraction. So Hadit is this point at the center of ourselves, in the center of the universe, and Nuit is everything around us. When they combine together, they form Horus, also known as Ra-Hoor-Khuit, also known as Ra-Ha, also known as Hadit, also known as Hadit, also known as many other things. Okay, but it's Horus. It's this sun god. And if you notice, the point of Hadit and the circle of Nuit actually form the solar glyph, the glyph of the sun. And this is just a basic symbol of the 2-in-1, the point and the circle, the masculine and the feminine, the internal and the external. Right? It's very similar to the cross and the circle. They're identical symbols, really. So, if Nuit is infinite possibility, Hadit is that within you that unites with any possibility. They are both kind of the infinite God without, as Nuit, and the infinite God within, as Hadit. In every moment, Hadit, that infinite God, unites with one possibility of Nuit. So you imagine there's some infinite knower, infinite self that has all these possibilities of existence, and in each moment there's one possibility that's made in actuality. And that union of Hadit and Nuit is basically our experience. It's our universe. So this is a super fast rundown of this kind of universe we inhabit. So if you imagine, if you were to close your eyes and your ears and your nose and everything, and it was just kind of a black space, you can imagine that as kind of the black potential of Nuit. Anything could come in through that. Any kind of sight or smell or sensation or thought, any kind of positive experience is one potential becoming actual. You're having an experience of that thing. So in the Thelemic universe, every experience, every moment, every event is this kind of cosmic dance between these two infinite gods, Hadit at the core of your being, and Nuit, which represents the infinite. Nuit is the author, so to speak, or speaker of the first chapter of the Book of the Law, and Hadit is the speaker of the second chapter. Ra-Hoor-Khuit, or Horus, is the speaker of the third chapter. These are magical images, one might say, where one might invoke them as deities. But Thelemites actually often view these as principles more than deities. Nuit as the infinite expanse, Hadit as infinite motion, and that kind of thing. Nuit as the ultimate noun, Hadit as the ultimate verb, that sort of thing. But some do work with them as kind of deities. It's up to you. Here's Ra-Hoor-Khuit sitting on his throne, looking super enlightened. And here is Ankh-Aftakansu making an offering on the stele. So we have these three gods, so to speak, who are all one. They all are symbolized by this solar glyph, and the solar glyph is you. It's the true nature of your perception, of your reality. The ultimate goal is to basically come into consciousness of that. Some people, like I said, view these as objects of devotion. Here's an image by Kat Luna of Ra-Hoor-Khuit as a kind of tantric god, one that you would, I imagine, visualize yourself as.